Hello everyone and welcome back to the HCS NA Regionals live from Anaheim, California. It is Championship Sunday. We have an elimination match lined up for you on the main stage and it's all going towards that gorgeous trophy you see in front of you. We have eUnited versus Pioneers. They are about to hit the stage and get ready to really duke this one out and try and see who's going to go forward and who is going to be going home. And no one really wants to go home, folks, let's be perfectly honest, so they're going to really have to bring their A game today. Now, let's talk about one of our teams here who've had a little bit of a bumpy road to get to Sunday. They have been knocked down into the elimination bracket, but this is a rematch for them, eUnited. It's so hard when you talk about eUnited because I feel like they deserve a lot of respect in terms of their individual skill level and their talents. You know, these guys have been around for such a long time. And, you know, it's difficult because they're so well practiced. They practice more than anybody in the competition. But they're not always getting the results that they want, are they, Walshy?
Yeah, not through some of the online results. But as we looked at Raleigh, this is still one of the teams to beat. I mean, we keep saying that about Cloud9. You can't have that same conversation without talking about eUnited. They had to beat so many strong teams to get to the grand finals.
FaZe ain't here anymore.
That's true. It is very, very true. I mean, that is the thing. And are you looking at the inconsistencies of their series here? Are you looking at, you know, what Pioneers were able to do to them in pool play previously? Or are you feeling like coming into day 3 on Championship Sunday, this is going to be a different eUnited team?
You're definitely grading them off of, like, by the day, right? By the intensity, the importance of the series. So back in pool play, not quite as important. Saturday, end of the day against FaZe, big deal. Championship Sunday, you got to win everything. So, you know, they're in a good spot. They continue to ramp up. And somebody who is just unstoppable, apparently, is Spartan. He's just continuously surprising.
He really is. Tony, you've got to see them play. We've seen some of the stuff that these guys are capable of. What do you make of eUnited as a team and the way that they come together to perform?
eUnited are a really strong team. You know, we've been talking about we want to see some nerdy stuff. You got Ryan New Nerds coming out of that squad. And let me tell you, there's nobody that can get nerdier than him. On top of that, like you said, you talked about Spartan. He's absolutely disgusting. And not only the vocal leader of the team, but also the slaying leader as well. And when he really gets into the action, like some slayers will kind of bait you and kind of put your teammates in a bad position so they can get your kills. Not Spartan. Spartan is literally right in the action. So really excited to watch eUnited and the way they're able to change the pace. Similar to Cloud9, they have no problem slowing things down. And when they have those numbers, they can speed up the tempo as well.
Yeah, I really think they can. And it was interesting also to see, you know, some footage of the team talking about themselves and what they like to do to their opponents on the map. And Walshy, it was said that, you know, they like to circulate their opponents on a map. They like to almost like enclose them and try and kind of push them into corners. You know, what do you make of their gameplay style as a team?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Anytime you're trying to push on a team, you want to get multiple different angles. And if you can basically turn a map into a circle and start to just eventually corral them into one corner, that's where you can pick them apart one by one.
Watch him play Recharge Slayer. It looks just like I feel like I'm in prison if I'm the enemy team watching them play Recharge Slayer. It's painful for their opponents, basically. FaZe is a good example. They struggled against them.
Yeah, they definitely did. eUnited as well, I think, can get in your head. I think that was something else that happened on the tape was, you know, they were saying that, look, we like to get into our opponents' heads. We like to make them feel pressure and we like to make them sweat during games. And I think that's what they do really well. They're very aggressive, actually, eUnited as a team. They're very, very aggressive. And they do play with confidence. And I think that's what separates them sometimes from their opponents. And playing with confidence is honestly, is quite key. Let's talk about Pioneers, though. On the other side of the stage, it is a rematch. And they did manage to do it once before in pool play. But like you said, Shyway, you know, maybe not much of a big of a game back then. You know, it wasn't as important as it is today. But, you know, they know the recipe that it takes to take down eUnited. And Tony, with that being said, what do you make of Pioneers and their chances today?
Yeah, I'm really good friends with the Pioneers, actually. I know all of them very well, and luckily they play Halo a lot better than they play basketball, because I was schooling them. I was crossing them up. But as far as them Halo, they will cross me up because they are all unguardable. Let me tell you, they know how to get aggressive, and more recently, here in Halo Infinite, I mean, their Achilles heel back in the Halo 5 was their Slayer game. They always would tend to lose Slayer, especially against those stronger teams. Right now, they're literally 8-2 in Slayer throughout all of Anaheim. They've really stepped it up, and they've been winning every Game 5 Slayer at that, because they're also 9-3 here in Game 5s, which is absolutely incredible. Going from Pro Series all the way to Anaheim, they are literally the clutchest team that we have in the Pro Series, and also in Anaheim as well.
Next to Sentinels, yes.
Next to Sentinels.
Put them in game 5, they clutch up.
But I gotta say, you know, for this Pioneers roster, I mean, the fact that they have that stat line, the clutch ability is huge for situations like this. You know, you're in an elimination match here. You know, you are trying your best to stay alive in this competition. Clutch factor is necessary. You need it. You need to be able to go to a game 5 and know, we got this, boys. We can do this. Like, look at our stat lines and have that ice in your veins. Pioneers, for me, I think, are so cool as a team because they're in so many conversations right now. They're making a lot of noise. You know, I go backstage and I'm listening to player conversations, I'm talking to people. Pioneers come up all the time, and that's because they're so irritating to play against. They really know exactly what they want to do as a team. What do you make of them as, you know, a well-rounded team at the moment, Walshy?
Yeah, they're just so good, and it's so rare, like we said before, to see that just pop up, where most of these players just going to get picked up individually and rise, but these 4 all rose together to where they're at today. I loved how you brought up earlier, like, eUnited wants to make their opponent sweat. But is that good or bad thing when we're playing against sweaty kids like on KC Pioneers?
Right.
Is that just empowering them? Is that just making them better?
That is true. Maybe they want the sweat. They want the drip, man. Hey, look.
They do.
You know, this could be a pretty spicy matchup with that in mind. Let's actually right now take a little look at our USMC service record, and it is going to be that guy we talked about a little bit already on the desk. It's Spartan. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, Spartan on eUnited. This guy can do it all for his team. He really, in Halo Infinite, has stepped up as the main slayer. You cannot deny it. Every single time I am watching a series, Spartan is leading in KD, and it's not just at the end of the match. It's right at the beginning. He's a difference maker. He's getting those opening kills, and it's really, really hard to play against because, you know, he's really kind of taken control for his team in his gameplay, Shyway.
He has. I mean, thankfully on screen we got a couple, you know, examples of him just dropping everyone like flies. He's actually a menace on the map. We talked about this earlier. Tony mentioned it a little bit too. Is he's a little different as a main slayer. I find with, you know, in our conversation that we have with Wes, Tony, you have main slayers like Cloud, for example, back in Halo 3 on Narrows. He spends most of the game with the snipe in the back of the map, just picking up kills, and he'll get very few deaths at the same time, which is great for him, but for the rest of his team, puts a lot of pressure on his teammates to do the dirty work. Spartan, he's the opposite. He goes right up in your face. He takes names. He takes the attention, and he still gets slays at the same time, somehow getting very high KD also, which is just wild to see. And I think a big part of that is also due to Ryan Noob and how difficult he is to kill, but a conversation maybe for another time. It's just they're a great team together.
Absolutely, and I think that is honestly what builds a main slayer, right? You know, it's what your teammates can do around you, and sometimes knowing when to give and take, and when to push your main slayer and let them be aggressive or pull away again and try and maybe get a little bit more objective work done. But Tony, what I thought was really interesting about Spartan is his personality off the sticks kind of does translate onto the sticks too. You know, you look at other players like Oddball, right? Super aggressive, goes for everything. He's challing here, there, everywhere. Who cares with the grapple? He doesn't care if he's half shield. I gotta say, you know, he's so quiet off the sticks. You know, he's quiet as a mouse. He seems really sweet, almost angelic-like. Spartan, he's loud, proud, and he does it in game as well. Is that kind of scary when you're going up against an opponent like that?
Absolutely. Not only is it scary for the enemy team, because when enemy team is not playing at their best, Spartan has no problem yelling across along with Ryan Noob as well and letting them know about it. Puts a lot of pressure on enemy team, and then it almost has the exact opposite effect on your teammates. I'm the kind of player where I'm momentum driven. I love when my teammates are going off, and when Spartan goes off, he lets you know. He screams at them. That energizes me, and that lets me play at another level. And that's exactly what happens with eUnited as well. They feed off that energy. And that's why they're such a momentum-driven team. I'm a big fan of eUnited.
Oh, I love that, man. Absolutely love it. We love to see it, and we also love to hear from our teams to find out exactly how they're feeling about LAN, their chances, you know, their competition. So let's find out exactly what they're thinking heading into their elimination match.
There's no real team I want to beat the most. I kind of just like want to win.
There, but now he has no choice. He has to take this fight ahead. Big win there! Truck with the double!
We are able to play the game the most efficiently that it can be played. Maybe Cloud9 can do the same, but besides that, I don't think any team can play the game as efficiently as us.
Just want to go down, and it looks like
there it is.
First as Truck ends up getting the double kill. that we were talking about.
Wow, what a play from Struck.
The dark horses, they're the Pioneers. They're feeling confident. You know, they feel like they can go all the way.
A nice double kill, killing spree.
We were just learning the game and how to play like old school Halo and like setups and stuff. We've learned to play that and we can play both styles now. And not a lot of teams can do that. And I feel like when we're playing our peak, no one can beat us.
About this push, it's going to be coming from pipes because Struck could get shut down.
This is our event to win because we have a lot to prove. We got second at the last tournament. A lot of people doubted us going into that event, and people definitely still doubt us going into this event.
And Snipe out throwing an excellent checkmate, ends up backing out King Nick, the triple kill.
If we can really just focus on the minor mistakes, I really think we could beat any team. We lost our match against KCP. We just need to kind of lock up, you know, get that revenge for the losses we've had.
Bottom goal, the nades come in. Nice. Ends up taking down one and double kill. Two.
Still got the shock as well. He can make a play. Ball back in the hallway and watch your damn face. Lights out.
Same mind you as a grapple as well.
There it is. Ooh. There's the roars. and I can promise you one thing, you're going to hear that a lot more going into this first match. Yeah, right? I mean, I got to say, I know, and it does, because the passion is there. I got to say that I really do like the fact that, you know, they are so openly talking about how people are doubting them. And I think that actually was the storyline heading into Raleigh, and because of their bracket, and I think a lot of people questioned their bracket and their journey through Raleigh. But at the end of the day, you can only play who's put in front of you. And I just want to quickly note something I love about United. They took down FaZe twice now. They've taken them down twice at LAN. There is no question about it. You know, this team is to be taken seriously. Don't doubt these teams. Don't sleep on them. I mean, they're incredible, absolutely incredible. Let's actually bring up the series layout though and see exactly what is coming our way in this first match of the day. Now, Tony, talk to me about this because this is a rematch, and obviously the series layout I think is going to play into the factor of both of these teams here. So what are you noticing that maybe could be swayed into a favor of either one?
I really think this series layout really favors Pioneers in this roster. The reason why is because you're on Recharge, which now Pioneers are already beaten eUnited on Recharge, and going to game number 2, which is a Slayer, which as of right now, Pioneers, again, 9-3 across all Slayers. I saw in game number 3 was going to be Strongholds on Streets. Normally, Pioneers are one of the best Strongholds teams in the league, and that's kind of their bread and butter. I will say, eUnited did beat them on Strongholds the last time they met in pools, so that's one going towards eUnited. But at this point, if I'm KCP, I'm like, hey, let's just get it to game 5. Once we get to game 5, we're clearly winning almost all of them. Let's just get it to game 5, and as long as they take the first 2 and end up taking the objective as well, which they're a very solid capture the flag team, I think Pioneers have the advantage. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What do you think, Shaway? You
I don't know.
With that?
Well, first of all, I didn't watch the original series back in pool, so I'm trying to figure out how Pioneers snuck away with that, right? Because if you go look at Pioneers' stats, everyone on that team is negative. They're all negative. They don't slay, right? What are they doing? And the more I think about it, the more I think that they're just Halo 5 kids. They play the game like it's Halo 5. They overextend all the freaking time, and I think that's why Aquarius CTF is a good map to look at. Of course, they got to get to game 4 to get there. But I just find that you've got a team like eUnited that's so structured in their approach, especially with Aquarius. They play all car, very heavy stack on car, which is the powerful way to play. And they tend to avoid pink side, whereas you've got Pioneers who they just throw their players through pink behind enemy lines for overextensions and just keep pulling flags. They just keep pulling flags, and they die throughout the process. But if they get that flag past 50 yards, they get it in, they win the game. So I think that's kind of the game plan, is to just they're just unpredictable.
It's like scrappy versus like clean play as well. Because eUnited, you know, forgive me if I'm not the expert here. I'm just gonna put my hands up. I'm not, but I can see what I see. And you know, eUnited right at the start, you know, Aquarius CTF was one of their best game types. In fact, I think a lot of teams came up against them and were like, oh no, please, this is going to be terrible, because they are very clinical about the way that they play that CTF. You know, it is more of an arena style map. They hold it in their closet until they are comfortable to go and cap that flag in their base.
Not only that, on Recharge Slayer, Pioneers won as well. The last time I saw eUnited play Recharge Slayer, they destroyed FaZe on Recharge Slayer. So what the heck are Pioneers doing is my big question mark. How are they breaking through these hard setups that eUnited seem to have? and finding ways to win despite being all negative. So that's I can't wait to see it play
I think
out.
it will come down to the aggression of Pioneers and being a little bit scrappy and maybe being a bit unpredictable for eUnited.
Yeah.
I think that's how you do kind of defeat a team who are a little bit more set in their ways and setups and strategy. But let's take a look right now at our head-to-head, our player versus player on the main stage. We got Spartan versus Soul Snipe, and you can see that thumbs down is for anybody trying to challenge this guy on the map because it's not going to go well for you. Look at that KD ratio comparison. And, you know, we do like to say on the desk that KD isn't everything. It's more so where you're getting the kills, when you're getting the kills, and how impactful they are. But I gotta say, with a 1.27 averagely right now and 19.6 kills averagely per game, Spartan's making a pretty big impact here.
Absolutely, yes. Spartan is, like we've always said, up in the action during these kills. He's that main Slayer that is really the opportunity creator. And when we try to compare him to other top Slayers in the game right now, I mean, he's right up there with like a Renegade or a Frosty with the playstyle and the action that he's doing for his team. So for him to have those sort of numbers with that sort of threat in front of him all the time as he's just putting himself in the action, it's impressive.
Can I just say that I love that these two are head-to-head? You have Spartan, again, that vocal leader, that main Slayer, and then you have Soul Snipe, who kind of represents Pioneers as a whole. They're sitting in the top 3 as far as win percentage without a single player in the top 15 as far as KD. Like you said, they're almost all negative, but that's what they're all about, and Soul Snipe represents that. Spartan thrives off of understanding the timing of the game, and that's how he's able to get the slay. Soul Snipe will throw off your timing with his unorthodox movement and gameplay, so really excited to watch both of these players go at it.
Tony, who's the vocal leader of the team? Is it Soul Snipe or is it Talik? Who gets the loudest?
Believe it or not, so I'm not gonna lie, Mikey and Druck are really good as far as trash talk, and so is Manny as well. But believe it or not, their actual vocal leader is Talik. Talik is the one, which you see, look at all 4 of them, like there's no way it's Talik. Talik is the one that as soon as he gets a kill, he lets everybody know about it. Soul Snipe and Druck are really good at trash talk, but it's more like on the low. They're slick, they're sarcastic. Talik is the one who's not afraid to get loud and really energize the team.
What would you say the pace is of this team right now, boys, in terms of Pioneers? You know, like, are we looking at a super aggressive team? They fly at you. Are they able to control the pace of the game really well and dictate it based on their opponents and adapt? Because I feel like you need to be able to do that if you're going to go up against any of our top teams. You know, say they do take down eUnited and they're coming through into an elimination final. That could be pretty scary going up against the likes of Sentinels, who you are going to need to really switch things around into their POV and play up to their playstyle because they're very comfortable in their way. I just want to know what's comfortable for Pioneers, do you think?
Faster gameplay is comfortable with Pioneers. But usually when you think of faster gameplay, you think of like Reckless and Wild and whatnot, but they do like they just somehow have this perfect balance. They know when they can push, when they can be super aggressive, when they can challenge and take those one-on-ones, and when they have to just slow it down and wait for their teammates. So it's a very controlled aggressiveness. And I feel like that's always been missing with new or upcoming teams as they break in the circuit. They don't know how to pump the brakes at all. But I don't know exactly how and when KC Pioneers know how to do it, because it does feel like they have those opportunities when they're sometimes all 4 down, or sorry, they have a few down, but that one person will just fly out, take a one-on-one, and take a one-on-one trade, and that's actually a very smart thing to do if you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you point that out, Dave, because, you know, Pioneers have been known to be that aggressive and reckless team, at least back in the day, but when we were casting a matchup against Exeter, I think it was actually me and GB, and one thing I saw the Pioneers was they were slowing the game down. They were playing Slayer, Bizarre, and they literally had all 4 of their players sitting on the red side. Exit had full that mid-map control, and you would think KCP want to push up and fight for it. They said, no, we're sitting on red. They literally made Exit play to them, and then once they slayed them out and got that mid-map control, they grabbed rockets again. They slowed the game down completely and stopped moving. Manny was just kind of hovering between the rocket side, making sure that nobody spawns towards Rocket Alley, and they stopped pushing forward. And let me tell you, Pioneers that's slowing the game down and playing high IQ Halo, that's a team that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's what you're looking for, isn't it? That's what you're looking for as you proceed. You need to dictate the pace, and you need to be patient at certain times and not just push absolutely everything, because you can give away too much then. That's how you actually lose leads, as well as not making those decisions. So it's awesome to see Pioneers already doing that. I can't wait to see them do it on the main stage. But gentlemen, it is that time, the card time. It is the time to make the predictions. So I'm actually I don't know. I'm really torn. I'm not sure. This is hard.
You called it.
This is so hard.
I want to see.
I mean,
if
this
we
was
go
the most
50-50.
difficult one we had in pool play as well.
I
We were
know.
like, this is the most difficult to call. And last time, you know, to call us all out, we all predicted EU, and Pioneers came out ahead.
I know.
Okay.
See, this is a tough one, isn't
It's
it?
Sunday now, though. That's the
It's
big,
Sunday.
the big
It's a different
difference.
team, yeah.
Is it Sunday
Is it
now.
bad that I've never wanted to copy homework more in my life?
Copy homework?
I'm like, what are you going to do? I
Don't look at my
can't
answers.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Viewers at home, put in the chat. Who do you think is going to be winning this match? Help us along. Give us your energy. I need some help up here. All right. We're just going to go for it.
Yep.
All right, on 3. Oh, gosh. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's split.
Even.
Oh, I like it.
As all things
I
should be
mean, we
balanced.
chose the wardrobe color correct, and
you.
we chose the team correct, I believe, Tony. So let's get this going.
Wow, that is
Oh,
true.
I see. So
All
this-
right, Team
this was
Pioneers.
planned in
fine.
advance.
Team EU.
I'll
Come
take it.
on.
Cool.
Come on, Team EU. Right, casters, it's over to you guys. Let's see how you're thinking and feeling about this matchup. It's going to be a close one, gentlemen. I mean, my goodness, it's a rematch. I'm really excited to see exactly how both these teams come out the gates. What are you thinking about this this epic elimination match?
I think it's going to be a good one. I mean, if anything we've learned this weekend, Dan, is that every series we've had to be a part of, it's gone the distance. We saw the first time the first time these two teams played, it went the full distance, went to an insane Game 5. So anything less than would be a disappointment. I think both these two teams are going to push each other to the limits. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Game 5 is definitely on the horizon. The game types look good. Both teams look good. It's going to be probably one of the best games that we're going to see today, Lottie. I'm going to put it out there.
I think so too. I'm going to say I've heard of caster curses, but I'd like a caster blessing if that is okay with both of you.
I'll take it.
I would like to go to the Game 5. I want an exciting first match of Championship Sunday. Fellas, it's over to you.
Lottie wants the Game 5. We want the Game 5, Dan. And in order to get there, we're going to have a 2-2 series. So there's a lot of work to be done by both these two teams. As we break down each team's journey to get to this point, obviously Pioneers coming out first in their pool, having a little bit of success on Friday, maybe not as much success yesterday as they would have liked. But eUnited, the losers bracket run that they've had to go on in order to get here as well, it's impressive, Dan. Who are you looking at specifically jumping into the series early on Sunday morning to get this one kicked off, started on the right foot for their team?
I think there's a lot of pressure on eUnited, even though Pioneers arguably the favourite for the series purely off the fact they won the last series between the 3-2 in pool play. eUnited, arguably a team who should be getting further in the tournament because they finished second way back in Rally. So anything lower than that, they'll be seeing as a disappointment. They've gone downhill rather than going in an upward trajectory. So Pioneers, they need to take this game to eUnited. They need to continue with the same confidence that we saw in pool play, flying at eUnited, not being scared whatsoever. In those kind of 45 to 45 moments in Slayers, make a play. Take the initiative. Be that team who's actually pushing to try and get the win rather than turtling up and allowing the other team to dictate the pace. I think this is going to be a very fast-paced series, but we do have some game types that will naturally slow these teams down. And it's really going to come down to those IGLs to be able to make the moves and decide who's going to be pushing where to ensure they get the win.
I think if we get into a 45 to 45 Game 5 situation, the Pioneers are those guys that are willing to take the risk. Couldn't agree more with you. But in order to get there, having to beat eUnited consistently in some of these objective game types is so difficult. And we're already getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the first series of your Championship Sunday. Both these two teams have championship aspirations, but one of them is done after this series. The other one will move on to continue their losers bracket run. eUnited versus the Pioneers, and we're starting this one off on Recharge. And oh boy, Dan, Spartan the dog loves to get his hands on that shock rifle. He's already making his way there, helps a teammate out on the way as well.
We've already seen eUnited have a lot of success on this map and game type against XSET already in the tournament. They dominated and they looked so comfortable. On the flip side, KC Pioneers, they lost against G2 on this game type in the tournament, and they looked everything but comfortable. So in my eyes, I'm looking towards eUnited here.
All we did in the pregame is talk about how good Spartan the dog is as a Slayer, but what does he do at the very start? He gets that ball after his team gets numbers and an advantage. Spartan the dog not afraid to be the player on his team to play objective as well, and that's what eUnited does best. Everyone needs to do everything for them to have the level of success they're looking for today, and already a 24-point lead.
Great patience there from Rain. He just recognized if he just backed off, the ability to protect him enough where it's not going to be any auto-aim on the other side. They're not going to be able to hit those shots, but in the end and elsewhere, there are kills going in favor of Pioneers, so a great push coming together from them.
There's some games in Recharge we don't see the sword at all. Multiple times this weekend, we've seen Pioneers use that sword to their advantage. Already seeing Druck have that sword in his hand. Probably bodes well for their opportunity. They have broken the setup of eUnited for now, but now Soul Snipe under a lot of pressure with this shock rifle, forced to drop down to batteries, no shield. Can he play his life? Does get his shield back, but now in a very difficult position. You do not want to be here as a player. How can Soul Snipe get out of it? He's not getting out of it. Spartan the Dog puts him in respawn, and now it's that shock rifle opportunity that we've all been talking about, but it's shut down immediately. A great kill by Talk as well.
Two entirely different playstyles there. We highlighted Spartan and Soul Snipe before this tournament started. Soul Snipe cowering in a corner, looking to take angles with the shock rifle, whereas Spartan looking to get aggressive, looking to try and make an impact with it. And now on the back foot are Pioneers trying to get into control at the moment, but the nades that we're seeing from eUnited are so well placed. Camouflage is going to be popping soon, so both teams going to work around it.
Look at Talk's decision to relocate here. Unfortunately, the rest of Pioneers that was holding down Blue go down. Talk gets taken down as well, and that ball moved immediately back into the elevator. Ryan Noob secures this camo as well. So everything right now going in the way of eUnited to push this first round of game one wide open. I love this by Ryan as well. Able to go back for that Mangler, and we've seen it all weekend, baby. Camo, Mangler makes plays, and here we go. Ryan, what do you have in store for us today?
Only able to get one, but is that one enough? Because he gets also a melee, and Spartan is going to be in a position here where actually he can challenge the ball. Unfortunately, Talik's able to get away, but as long as he works with Nick, they can pressure this ball enough so that off spawn, eUnited can still make a real play to try and collapse on them here.
Yeah, what a phenomenal job by Pioneers there to break that setup. eUnited had 4 dead, got camo, got Mangler. You think they could hold a nice setup, but Pioneers break that immediately, and now it's trades across the board. King Nick gonna jump into bottom control. Can he get this kill on the Soul Snipe? That would be a big one. A big one's won. The 1v1s are gonna be pivotal in this series, and King Nick getting one on his belt already in this series. Pushing across catwalk, and if he can get alive here to help his team, they may be able to secure some more ball time.
We've not seen many amazing plays this weekend, and individual snipes, individual big kills, multi-kills, but we have seen King Nick pull a few nasty things off, so I'm glad we're going to be on his POV for a short while. He seems to be very comfortable no matter what map, no matter what weapon is in his hand, and everything just looks so easy for him as he's dominating Elevator right now.
He tells Soul Snipe to hold this. Now he's holding on to the ball, doing it all. Right now is King Nick. A few kills, some ball time. He's going to play it knowing the situation. He's got too much pressure on him. Get that ball into the middle of the map, and a beautiful job by him to just distract the members of Pioneers for now. But oh my, Pioneers caught that ball, moved it to bottom elevator, a double kill from Druck as well. So everything read like a book from Pioneers that counter the play that King Nick put perfectly, and because of it, the Pioneers are right back in this game, down 15.
It is important to sometimes try and catch that ball. I know we've got the Super Bowl today, and you've got to do your best impression of a wide receiver, but certainly there being able to grab it, get it back into a spot where you can still pick up that scrappy time is so important for Pioneers. They've kept this close enough. Even though eUnited arguably have had more control at times, Pioneers have kept this close. Now they've got the setup towards Elevator, and they've got the camouflage. This might be a tough push for eUnited, but they've got the opening.
Nothing makes me happier than when you make an American football reference, Dan. That was great.
Did I get it right?
I like that.
Yes!
I like that. That was phenomenal. Now, speaking of phenomenal, camo, Mangler, opportunity here for Pioneers to get right back in this game. Like we said, only down 3 at this point. You saw eUnited had a massive lead, but Pioneers have done everything right since then to get back into it. Great Mangler shots, great teamwork out of Pioneers. 2 dead, and Pioneers get the ball right back into Elevator. How quick are they with this objective? They are playing so efficient with these kills.
So much of the action going around this Mangler area, and you can understand why. It's such a powerful weapon to use, and it seems like whoever's got it in their hands right now is not missing a shot, not missing a beat. So that's why we're seeing such a scrappy game going back and forth, because either team and both teams have got these Manglers to win those close engagements.
Not often do you see a player just hiding in that bottom Mangler pit area, but it does look like it doesn't benefit Druck for now, as multiple members for eUnited decided to push Turbine instead. The ball gets played. Ryan Noob trying to do his best Pioneer impression. He gets taken down. A killing spree for Druck before he's removed from the map with Sword. King Nick forced to stay alive in this ball in the pit. Sometimes it is so difficult to get out of pit, especially when Spartan the Dog is looking over it with Shock.
Well, something that the desk highlighted was that Pioneers were maybe struggling in the slaying department in some of their series previously, but still winning the games. That's not the case here today. They are outslaying eUnited right now. They've got the objective because of it, but currently 3 of them are down. eUnited need to get this ball into a place where they can set up, but there's Soul Snipe just there to be a nuisance. If he can get a kill or stay alive, that's going to be a difficult situation for eUnited to try and set up.
Ryan gives his life to get that ball a little bit closer to that elevator. Will it benefit eUnited, however, is the question. It's a 3-on-3 situation as both players are coming off respawn. Camo does get acquired by the Pioneers, and that's going to be in the hands of Talik. Once again, the Pioneers get a set of camo. What will they be able to do? Because right now, eUnited ball in elevator. This setup needs to be broken, and there's not a ton of time left in this first round.
Nick's got a sword somewhere, does get taken down. Gotta hit this shot or at least go for the backsmack, which he will. As long as you get these kills, but you don't. Ryan in a huge 1v1 right now, which he wins. Taking down Manny, he gets the trade, but unfortunately ball time's still going in favor of the Pioneers. eUnited need to swarm this quickly.
Wasn't a big fan of how Talik played that camo, but it does work out for the Pioneers as of yet. You'd like to see him stay alive a little bit longer, but Druk doing a good job of dropping that ball, knowing that the members of eUnited are pushing across this Mangler spawn right now. He goes down, and great teamwork once again by Pioneers. They seem to be 2v1ing just about every situation so far. The sword is right on the ground. That's so risky for him. Just 7 points now needed for the Pioneers to end round 1, but Spartan the Dog is going to have something to say about them getting those last 7 points.
Pioneers are trying to stabilize right now, but eUnited off spawn. They're flying in 1 by 1 just to stop these final seconds from being picked up, but it's only going to be 5 away now.
They got to go.
And eUnited have to go now.
They have to go now. Ryan Noob, he meets the Mangler player, bottom, and Manny ends that round with the punctuation. That kill going to solidify that last second of ball time. And Pioneers, even though they had a little bit of a slow start, wasn't ideal for the Pioneers there in round 1. They got the job done still and take the lead here in game 1.
It has to be said that their Mangler control and their ability to hold that elevator and just keep eUnited on the back foot was very impressive, and it really racked up some ball time for them. And unfortunately, by the time eUnited realized how close Pioneers were to winning that round, they were just pushing in 1 by 1, single file like lemmings, and Pioneers, they had a field day.
A very slow camo push is going to reward Pioneers, and a double kill from Manny, a double kill from Soul Snipe. They get 4 kills off the break. Unfortunately, Manny doesn't expect spawners over at C. He pushes forward with the camo instead of bringing it back, and because of that, he loses his life. So camo going to be off the map for now. Soul Snipe with the shock rifle in hand. We saw him do some work on this on Friday, but unfortunately, grenades come through, and that shock rifle not impacting the game yet. As of yet.
I think he's got to do better with the shock rifle. He opted not to pick up the ball and get a little bit of scrappy time, instead to try and watch angles, and didn't connect with any shots whatsoever. Need to see something a little bit better from Soul Snipe, because there's a lot of responsibility from him with that shock rifle pickup round after round.
Soul Snipe is going to be a long series. You have plenty of time to prove Dan wrong here, plenty of time to showcase your skills, but for now, it's removed from your hand. Talik is taking down top BR. Or top red, I'm sorry. Druk with the Mangler now in hand. We're seeing this Mangler switch hands so often. So often are we switching to the point of view of this player, and we saw how much work it could do in round 1. What is Druk going to be able to do for us? Backing down Nick, but multiple members now of eUnited pushing towards the turbine side. Are they going to expect this push as Nick and a teammate of his own, Ryan Noob, are pushing from the right? So it's going to be a 2-2 split for this setup break.
Druk's got 1 repulsor charge left as well. That could be a big factor in this push coming out from eUnited. It doesn't matter in the end. Tries to just push him off the map, but unfortunately there's some glass there, buddy. All 4 down, as you say. Camouflage coming up shortly. Sword is just spawned, so if eUnited can grab that camo, then push towards the sword, that could be a big influence to what's happening afterwards.
I hope everybody recognizes how patient eUnited was to get that 2-2 split set up, and then as soon as they got the first kill, look at how quickly they were able to take down the rest of the members, break that setup of Pioneers. You could tell eUnited have that setup break in their bag of tricks. Don't be surprised if we see that again. But shocker, Druk with the Mangler and camo in hand. Can he get this kill? Misses the first shot, but luckily able to get that kill after a little bit of sloppy play from the start. Druk getting a kill, though, is big for now, because 2 dead for eUnited could result in some serious ball time for Pioneers. They're down 10 seconds. They need to pick this one up, and you do not want to do that with camo, so I do like the idea of giving that to your teammate. Camo runs out. However, Druk with this Mangler can hold down this doorway all day long if they decide to try and push through it. Is the 2-2 split coming through? It's going to be Spartan the dog, bottom yellow stairs. He's taken down 3 dead for eUnited, and Pioneers are going to hold this setup strong this time around.
I think this map really favors Pioneers' playstyle. They're playing so up close and personal, constantly looking for that mangler, looking for sword, looking for anything that can give them that melee ability. Now, I'm not saying they can't use their battle rifles from a distance, but I do think eUnited maybe like to get into those scraps from a distance. They like to take the long-range engagements, and they're not really being able to. As I say that, Rain will push in and use the BR from close range.
Now, when you have a setup like that, you cannot be the first one to go down. Unfortunately, Pioneers lose Soul Snipe. Because of it, the rest of the dominoes fall, and just like that, eUnited have stolen their setup and have it of their own for now. Ryan Noob, it's not your ideal player with the shock rifle, but let's see what he's capable of, because man, does he make clips happen when you least expect it. Does not land the headshot on the Tog, does good solid damage onto that player forcing him bottom pit, relocates with the grapple. A good job to sandwich that player bottom pipes, and I like this by eUnited. They were getting sandwiched from both sides. They forced all of their attention onto one side, they clear it out, and now look at Ryan Noob trying to stay alive, buy time for his team, but unfortunately, another setup broken in this game results in Pioneers once again with the ball in hand, about to take the lead.
Pioneers not having all 4 members up, though, means they're going to struggle to set up here. Camouflage is going to be spawning, so I don't think they're in a position to stop this. So eUnited should be able to grab it, will grab it, and it's going to be Ryan Noob, of all people. I think that's the perfect player to have the camouflage in his chest, and he's going to be rewarded with a little bit of ball time. And again, this is a good objective player, someone who will just pick up that extra second, move the ball across, and then just give it away. Utilize this camouflage now in a position where Pioneers may struggle to push in.
He shoots the weapon pad with the shock rifle. I love that by him, using everything to his disposal. It will chain damage onto the player. He says, I'm not worried about the headshot. I want the free damage from the weapon pad, knowing that it's going to chain that damage. Ryan is so intelligent, using everything to his advantage. Creates the opening for eUnited to get numbers in their advantage, but unfortunately, everyone left the ball guy, and now Rain, he's got to tell his teammates, guys, they're on ball.
Manny's going to be the next person closest to actually try and fight this. And actually, there's going to be 2 players, and okay, the shock rifle connected, and it will chain onto both players, but they've managed to survive. And now for the Pioneers, if they can just survive this little rut that we're going through where eUnited off spawn, then maybe they could get ball time. But with only 1 player remaining who will fall, this is even more time that could be chunked up by eUnited. Only 23 seconds left to win 1 more round. So that's going to be 1 real push here for Pioneers.
King Nick did so much damage in order to keep that in eUnited's advantage right there. 2 kills and another player to no shield, and it's rewarded Rain with these last 10 seconds that they've acquired. Only 10 seconds now for eUnited to take this round, and unfortunately, Rain's going to take it down. Sparty's taken down, Nick's taken down. Pioneers get the slays once more.
Ryan Noob's going to be the last player, and he's being a nuisance as always. Even gets that ball moving. Unfortunately, not quite enough to get it out of the door. That could have made a huge difference here for eUnited. Sometimes it is those fine margins that make the difference between a few seconds or not. But Pioneers, they need to try and hold a setup, because if they allow eUnited 1 more chance to get that ball, that's probably going to be game.
Look at that ball. It stops right on the ledge, doesn't get played, so not your best Joe Burrow impression for the day. Pioneers, is eUnited able to get that last 10 seconds here? Doesn't appear that anybody from Pioneers in a position to take down Rain, and we're going to a round 3 already in game 1. These 2 teams, we saw how highly contested their series in pool play was. Game 1 is the exact same story. We have a round 3 already.
Pioneers just struggled to break those setups quick enough from eUnited, and once they did, they didn't really have the players to actually manage to set up themselves, and that was a real issue for them.
A much different push off the break of this round 3, a much more aggressive push for Camo. Remember, Manny going for Camo, played it very slow in round 2, instantly goes for it in round 3, awards himself with not only Camo, a double kill, and eUnited have 4 members down. Pioneers do a phenomenal job to switch up the pace at the start of this 3rd round.
Ball in the hands for Manny, but he opts to just throw it out here. He knows that there's going to be spawns somewhere nearby, and he knows this camouflage could make the difference. But this has been a decision from several players in Pioneers not to hold ball time and instead just go for slays, as that's a nice perfect there from Pioneers once more and Manny. But 3 of them have fallen. eUnited have got a little bit of map control, but that ball is exposed right now.
Manny and Talik both with 3 kills already in this game. Rain, Sparty also with 3 kills, so both teams having players step up in these moments. It's round 3. This is a do or die situation. You need to take this game 1. If you want this losers bracket run to become a reality, and a great job by Rain and the boys to find the first kill there in the kill feed. Unfortunately, the sandwich is still coming through, and Talik with this repulsor able to find one and the ball as well. So no play ball situation, and that means Pioneers is going to have a nice pipe set up for now.
That was such a good collapse from Pioneers as well. One pushing from Turbine, one pushing over from Top Gold, and they timed it to perfection. You've got to be very brave to push through pipes because you are going to be so vulnerable to grenades, but Talik knew full well Soul Snipe was going to be there to save him, and that's what you need. You need trust in your teammates.
Talik gets his shield back, but unfortunately the second he pushes, he meets 2 members of eUnited. Teamwork comes through, he gets deleted so quickly in Halo Infinite. If you have good teamwork, can you erase the enemy team? And just like that, 3 dead for Pioneers. Ball grappled up to the ledge, and Rain in such a good position to not only get information, rack up some ball time, do some damage. Rain doing it all.
Camouflage has spawned. Sword also going to be up. Manny looks like he's the player to be closest to potentially grabbing this custom, but unfortunately will go down as he hammers it into his chest. King Nick not able to grab it for himself, but he's done his job at the very least. That's all eUnited needed to do there, Clutch. They just had to stop Pioneers from picking up the camo, because that was Pioneers' plan. As soon as you see a camo spawn, when you are the team who's just lost a few, you say, okay, well, we'll go for camo, and then maybe that's how we break the setup. So well played from eUnited to make sure someone was there to focus it.
It's also really difficult to rack up significant ball time while defending the camouflage and denying the camouflage from the enemy team. So eUnited get the best of both worlds right now as they continue to rack up points. 50 already here in the round. As we see this start to get out of hand, Pioneers have had trouble breaking this setup for the first time in this game, and it's not the time to have trouble because it's round 3. You need to break it. Drunk does so much damage, can't hit the headshot. And as he goes into the death cam, he sees 3 members also down for Pioneers. No one else there to break this setup, and look at this eUnited making a statement here in round 3.
Yeah, look at the round that Pioneers won earlier. It was when the ball was over towards Elevator. It was a little bit more scrappy, but now we've got a little bit more structure in the play of a normal gold setup. eUnited seem to be thriving. They seem to be far more comfortable at watching these angles. Druck with 2 big kills, though, at least will allow Pioneers to maybe contest this ball off spawn.
Yeah, those 2 big kills from Druck weren't enough, though, because 2 members of Pioneers had just gone down, so they were literally just trades, and trades will benefit the team with the ball in hand. As always, Spartan the dog able to rotate this through Turbine back to Elevator, and this is such a heads-up play by Sparty. I mean, you're up 60 points right now in round 3. Do not risk giving a nice setup opportunity for Pioneers. He plays it, he wants to slay, and what does Spartan the dog do best? He slays with the best of them. A great repulsor on a Mangler player, a killing spree for Spartan, and that's the difference in the score line right there. Those are some big kills from Spartan, already 11 to his name in round 3.
Manny gets the trade, but is it going to be enough? eUnited are moving that ball towards blue, and you can see the collapse happening from Pioneers at the moment. They all need to work together in tandem, but Ryan says, hold this. The ball gets played, but look how quick eUnited are onto it. They're so heads up at the moment with their objective work.
Their cohesiveness when they are clicking is top notch. We saw them reach the grand finals of Raleigh. They want to have the same, if not better, results this time around. And Spartan the dog with a double kill. As we switch to his screen, spots another player to no shield, looks to try and push this ball carrier with only 4 points needed. eUnited can play so relaxed, so comfortable, so patient, and finish this game off with a lead.
That's the thing, they don't want to get too hasty and too desperate for this ball. They can allow Pioneers to have a little bit of time, but every single situation where Pioneers toss this ball into no man's land, all it takes is eUnited just dropping on it and picking it up for 4 seconds.
That's going to do it. Spartan the dog putting the punctuation on game 1. Let them hear it, Spartan. Let's go. eUnited Championship Sunday. They're here to play, and Pioneers better wake up soon because this series could not be long if they continue to play like they did in that round 3. That was a dominant performance from eUnited, and they take the lead in the series 1-0.
And that's the energy you need from someone like Spartan. It's quite early today, it has to be said. Not many people have got too much sleep, I feel, in this arena. We're gamers, come on, we stay up late. But if you've got someone like Spartan on your team waking you up with that kind of anger that you need in someone just to let rip and roar after a series, that's going to inject so much energy into the rest of the squad. And also, KCP will be looking across to that other side of the stage saying, we can't afford to let them get loud and proud. We can't afford them to think they're better than us. So they need to answer back in this next layer. But what a game 1 it was from eUnited, especially if you consider the fact they went 1-0 down in that Oddball game. They were struggling a little bit when the ball setup was over towards Elevator. Pioneers seemed to control that Mangler situation very impressively. But eUnited said, well, okay, well, if they're controlling the Mangler and they like to play up close and personal elevated, let's just bring this ball over towards gold, have one of our players sit top Mangler, and we can just hold across and make this so difficult for the Pioneers.
I mean, the biggest difference in game one to me was that one setup in round 3 that they just could not break. And because of it, eUnited built up a 60-point lead. And with that, it's so difficult, right? This game did go to round 3, so Pioneers clearly playing solid, but just had a lapse in their gameplay there in that 3rd round. Couldn't break the setup of eUnited until it took 3 or 4 respawns. And that kind of stuff can't happen to close out games, but we're already moving on to game 2, Dan. And this series starting much differently than we'd had on Friday. eUnited fell down 2-0 in games on Friday, pushed it to a game 5, already taking the lead. Could bode well for eUnited fans now. So Pioneers, we're going to see what kind of resilience they have as we go into game 2.
I think what worried me from Pioneers was their reluctancy to be picking up the ball at times. They weren't really necessarily going for that scrappy time. They were always looking for the perfect opportunity to get the setup, and arguably eUnited were more than happy to dive on that ball at times, especially Rain with the amount of objective work he was able to do. And look at that. Look what it means to Spartan to go 1-0 up in this series. Bazaar Slayer is going to be game number 2. It is something we saw Pioneers have some success from already in this tournament when they played against G2. They did like the kind of slower approach, which surprised me because Pioneers have always been this team who likes to fly around. But on Bazaar CTF, we see Pioneers kind of overextend a lot, and they move as a unit, as a 3, as a 4, and sometimes that's difficult to play against as well in a Slayer game because they are so quick to hold the middle of the map but then pressure those spawns. But I think that eUnited, they can do exactly the same thing. Even though they've lost both Slayers against Pioneers in the previous series that they played against each other in pool play, I don't think that will concern them too much.
No, I don't think so. I think that they're very confident in their Slayers. This one thing about it, eUnited, is I always was like, this is not going to be a good Slayer squad. I don't believe it. I love the fact that they're very objective-oriented, and I think that that plays well in your best of 5s when you have those 3 objectives, but they've actually surprised me, Dan. They have been very strong before seeing that stat about their Slayers. They've actually won a lot of their Slayers against some of the top teams in the world. They're going to need to do so in order to go up 2-0 in this series. And we know how strong of a Slayer Spartan and King Nick can both be, so looking for them to step up in this game. But on the other side, Pioneers, you have to stay in this series. You cannot continue to allow eUnited to gain confidence, momentum, because that passion from Spartan is so contagious. It will spread throughout the entire team, and eUnited, when they catch fire, they can be in the grand finals. They can win this whole thing. But it's early. It's still Sunday. You're only down 1-0, so the weight of the moment isn't too big yet. But if you lose this game too, it could just be that going into game 3.
Well, considering eUnited have lost those Slayers previously, just how big could a Slayer victory be here for them today in the elimination bracket as we're playing for top 4 right now between these two mammoth squads? Rhino picks up the overshield uncontested, and now we'll be able to fight against the Rockets. I mean, something's gone wrong there from Pioneers. It has to be said, their prioritization, their starting strategy was not on point.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Hardly ever have you ever seen a player go for overshield and just it'd be completely uncontested unless you're in my matchmaking games, and I'm not going for overshield, and that means the other team's getting an uncontested, I would think. But Ryan, not only does he get overshield, but look, 6 straight kills on the board for eUnited. Pioneers are able to answer with 1 Manny of his own, but unfortunately, this is all eUnited early on. Ryan has had some perfect shots to match with this perfect gameplay, and the setup, starting strats of eUnited look to be so good here on Bazaar Slayer.
One of the most snowballing maps and game types that we have in Halo Infinite right now is Bazaar Slayer, because you control the middle of the map, you push the spawns, you get the kills, and then you get rewarded with rockets, with overshield, with dynamo grenades. You have all the tools here when you have map control, and that's exactly what we're seeing from eUnited right now. They have a 6-kill lead. eUnited were up early.
Oh my God.
They've had their caffeine, but for Pioneers, they seem to have started really slow in this series today.
Ryan is doing such a good job of cycling these dynamo grenades, just actually literally standing on the respawn of them, already having 2 to his disposal. So much damage, so much information, so much control of where Pioneers is allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go. And a killing spree for Ryan Noob means eUnited is clicking on all cylinders.
When I think of Ryan Noob and his gameplay, this is a perfect example of what he can do. Stay bottom middle, lurk around all these hidey holes and wait for those call-outs, finish anything that is going to be presented in front of him, but then also have the kind of brave approach to take 1v1 engagements when they are there and presented as well.
Look at how he uses these nades to deny access to this next overshield, grapples it to himself anyways, and he's playing perfect textbook Halo. I mean, everything he's doing is so methodical right now. And now that he's secured this overshield, Mangler as well in hand, he's able to push freely onto Manny, able to spot him out. And you see Pioneer stuck on the bottom of the map. A phenomenal kill from Druck and Soul Snipe to get overshield removed without too much damage. But look, they're all trapped low on the map. They have 0 sightlines to work with. And this is a very dangerous spot for Pioneers to try and fight out of.
What a perfect start to the game it
Grappling
was, though,
a grapple
from eUnited. Yeah. Well, I've got 1 charge left. I tell you what, let's just waste it to make sure I get it for sure. And Druck, with that information, will get aggressive to try and at least finish off the kill onto Ryanu, but Ryanu continues to be the thorn in the side. Almost got the kill. I probably would have lost my mind if he had got that one.
Yeah, Manny over his shoulder, able to get that last bullet of damage onto Ryanu, and that was a big one because if Druck goes down there, that would have been very, very bad for the Pioneers fans. 17-11, so still within striking distance. They pick up the next set of rockets as well as we see Tawik on screen with those rockets. Now, it feels like we've seen all, what the, all right, 2 rockets shouldn't have had to been used to get that kill, but unfortunately Ryanu seems to be staying alive a little bit longer than usual today. We want to check the shields on that Spartan.
Well, I mean,
maybe it's that armor.
It was poor reticule placement with his rocket, I'm going to be honest. I know there's splash damage, but he still was aiming it at the wall rather than the floor. He was just, anyway, doesn't matter. 18-13, Pioneers are still in this game. Oh, I like that as well from Druck, just being able to grapple across and try and be a nuisance here against King Nick.
Denied by King Nick and forced to run with his tail between his legs. King Nick holding the 50-yard line well here on the Rocket side of the map. Spots Tawik bottom, Druck Ryanu still bottom dynamo grenades, but Druck with the flank didn't expect the push. The Druck double back, it's famous, and for good reason. It's a kill. It's another one onto Rain. The drop shot, hold this, Rain, as he picks up another one, 16-21. And for how dominant it feels eUnited have been early on in this game, the score line still close. Pioneers still in this game too.
Where's this overshield though? It was spawning, it was up. Druck's not focusing it because he's probably got the call that someone else is having a fight instead. Soul Snipe was the closest. Ryanu once more is in that position to try and take it, but Manny is the one who is rewarded with the overshield, but now he needs to put it to work, get some of these kills on board for Pioneers and get them closer to this 24 total.
And Manny has been that guy for the Pioneers so far in this series, competing for these power-ups. And that's big. You need to be able to secure some of these. Look at that overshield control. Immediately transitions into a few kills, map control as well. And if they can get information on where eUnited are, they can get the lead in this game as well. Only down 3 kills. It's going to take a team wipe to get the lead here, but they don't quite know where eUnited is. They need to figure it out because this lack of information could come back to bite them.
That's what I was going to say. All these players were just searching for the spawns there. They were desperately looking in every single nook and cranny to see where eUnited were residing. Ryanoob's going to be the one player underneath them, but because he's got the Bulldog, Pioneers are going to be reluctant to push him here. You've got to be careful when you are in these up-close and personal battles, knowing full well there could be a Mangler, there could be a Bulldog, and they certainly can shut you down quickly.
What does Ryanoop choose to do here? I like Pioneer's positioning, both corners control. Ryanoop trying to clear out one of the corners and does force Tawik out. Beautiful. Just gameplay from Ryan. Look how eUnited, when they slow it down, they find a game plan, and you can tell that they've talked about that in their strategy. Unfortunately, he gets pushed from Rockets. 2 kills go in Pioneer's favor immediately after Tawik going down, and with 20 seconds before Rockets come up, middle of the map control is crucial to the mid game.
And it's still being held by Pioneers. They've done very well to get back into this game and also take control of the map, watching those spawns. And even though, yeah, eUnited were being patient, they were trying to break through, they got that opening pick, but then the collapse happened from Pioneers as soon as they knew where they were. But Ryanu with that opening, now this is the perfect time for eUnited to try and regain some control.
That's an overextension from Manny. He gets taken down, and now power-ups coming up. Manny needs to get off spawn, get to the middle of the map, but it's too much pressure for Soul Snipe to deal with. Druck does make his way towards the overshield. Can he pop it in his chest? The answer is yes. Rockets are still up, so Pioneer's still able to at least win the battle for the power for now. A big kill from Druck once again to take down not just a player with the Mangler, but to secure some opportunity, maybe to secure Rockets. But Ryanoop, as all of this was going on, unscathed, picking up these Rockets, and another Rocket somehow doesn't kill those players in the vents. Get out of there. Those Rockets not creating the power curve that you would expect so far in this game.
It has to be said that Rockets are still in a questionable place with these players' hearts right now. People don't seem to be able to find the kills maybe you'd expect, and whether that be down to just a little bit less splash damage from recent Halos, I'm not sure, but certainly reticle placement does concern me at times. But, you know, that's down to the other team being unpredictable, maybe going into those positions that the other team's not expecting.
Right now we have a 1-kill game in favor of Pioneers. Ryan Noob has 13 of his own to keep eUnited in this. We saw how hot of a start he had. Spartan backing him up with 9, but it really is all of Pioneers slaying out 7, 8, 10 between the 4, and that is a great job by them to all consistently be a part of the work that's being done here to keep them in this series.
More assists for eUnited, but not too many more. I think both teams are firing well. There's a lot of crossfire going on. You've got one player that sometimes anchors towards tree, and then the other 3 are trying to fight for bottom middle control and bar control at the same time, but it's still Pioneers holding the middle of the map.
This is a big moment for Pioneers right now. They have eUnited trapped at a base. They know they have eUnited trapped at a base. A big 1v1, Talik versus Spartan. Both of them choose to back down, but Rain is on the way to finish this damage, and a bait and switch benefits eUnited. And that's the opening to get out of this lockdown, to get out of prison, escape from this red base, and take control of the middle of the map. That was a massive job by eUnited to slow the game down, understand that, hey, we're going to get pushed. We need to use teamwork, bait and switch, capitalize on each other's damage, and look at those brute nades once again being used in the corner by Rain. It's allowed Spartan to pick up this overshield, and now all of a sudden eUnited have momentum.
Yeah, such good grenades there. Sometimes you'll see players get a little bit selfish and want the overshield for themselves, but Rain knew he was in a spot where he could help Spartan grab it, and now Spartan can look to get aggressive. It's going to be a double kill cleaned up, and there's potential for more if he gets even more aggressive towards bar, but it looks like Pioneer spawned on that other side. So things slow down once more, 41-39. After the incredible and quick start from eUnited, and they had that 7-kill lead, Pioneers have done amazing to get back into the game, to take mid-map control, but eUnited now have wrestled back that control.
These last 2 sequences could determine the winner of this series. We saw eUnited trapped in a base, and we saw exactly how they got out. How will Pioneers get out of the same situation now that they're trapped at blue? Rockets are coming up, and they need to act quickly. 7 seconds for Rockets to pop, and it doesn't look like Pioneers has any opportunity to try and compete for them. And look at these brute grenades. They're going to be worth their money in gold right now. A beautiful kill, killing spree from Spartan, as that's the opening pick to secure these set of rockets. They haven't been impactful yet, but you can bet the dogs are out. Who let them out? Because Spartan's picked up these rockets, and he knows players are trapped. Bottom shot.
Well, at least Talik technically got the trade. There's going to be 1 rocket left on the body of Spartan, but eUnited, they're trying to get aggressive, but Pioneers are still finding frags here. 44-42. King Nick at least found the extra rocket. So you'd imagine that should be, and I say should be, a guaranteed kill to take them to 45.
It's a guaranteed no-shield player.
That's exactly what it has been so far, but by hiding down here in the Bulldog area, they've given up a little bit of mid-map control, and that's not a no-shield player.
Maybe just a little chip damage with that rocket. I think King Nick's probably pretty frustrated with how rockets have been as well, so he wants to get it out of his hand. But a Mangler versus Bulldog, Mangler wins. Talik with a big kill to get Pioneers 1 kill away from this being a tie game. And 2 players bottom shotting. You love to see that, but the damage isn't enough.
Wow.
Great grenades from Talik. The brute grenades are doing so much work in this game. 3 straight kills for Pioneers. Overshield up, and 4 kills to go for Pioneers to tie this series up. But they're only up 1. They cannot make mistakes. They have control of the map. They have everything at their disposal. It's a matter of execution.
What a sequence of events that was as well. Just Talik perfectly playing those grenades, perfectly playing the Bulldog area. Soul Snipe's getting aggressive.
Look at
Spartan's
this!
trying to hide, but now the push is coming through from the Pioneers.
A beautiful push from Soul Snipe. Great job to sniff Spartan out of that corner. Ryan Noob thrust forward to stay alive. Can he get away though? Running into the corner, thrust again. Look how quick Soul Snipe wants to get this kill. The melees. Oh no! 48-46. Ryan Noob gets a kill. Ryan Spartan gets a kill. He's getting fried. 48-48.
Ryan Noob with the dynamos yet again. He's lived on those dynamos. He knows Talik's there as well when he's got the Mangler.
Oh my God, Ryan Noob with the play of the day over Talik. Finds him. Perfect shots with the Mangler. Drux gets 1 of his own. That's Ryan Noob relocates, has to keep his teammate alive. It's 49-49. Slow the game down. eUnited know exactly where Pioneers are. This Mangler in hand. Look how low on the map Pioneers are. They're all running to the opposite base. Now they've retreated. They've given up their position, and rightfully so. You do not want to fight from shotgun.
40 seconds left as well. So if they stand off, this could be potentially an overtime situation and a reset in a Slayer.
When we go into overtime, there will be additional time added to the clock. This will not end in 30 seconds if there is not a kill. Ryan Noob wants to make the play of the game. Spots struck. No! What are you doing? What are you doing?
Druck opens his curtains, has a peek out of the window, and he's greeted by Ryan Noob with 4 shots to the brain. And eUnited, they finally take a Slayer off of Pioneers, and Spartan, he lets them know.
What's the no, man? You cannot be that 50th death. And unfortunately, it was all too easy for Ryan as he was just checking Rocket's side of the map, approaching how they were going to go about advancing. And I guess Druck thought that someone may have been flanking towards that Mangler spawn over at blue, but unfortunately, nobody home, and Druck kind of caught with his pants down there. Ends up giving away not only a kill, but an opportunity to tie this series up 1-1. And now we're looking at the Pioneers' lifeline. Very, very steady.
A shake of the head from Druck. Welcome to LAN, though. That's what I'm going to say. If that's online, you peek out, you have a look, you get shot, you turn away, you run away, you're fine. On LAN, crisp. Ryanoob not missing a beat and taking full advantage of it. Spartan, though, 19 kills, and Ryanoob with 17 of his own. Plenty of assists for Rain. A perfect display from eUnited of just being patient, recognizing the scenario that they're in and not panicking. Let's remember, if we rewind about 30-40 seconds, Pioneers had the push, Pioneers had the overshield, Pioneers had eUnited, and with their backs against the wall, they got aggressive, they were flying through the map, but Ryanoob was bottom middle, playing those dynamos as he has done throughout the entirety of the game, just generating so much damage, giving so much information to the rest of the eUnited squad, and because of that, they got those kills, they got themselves into that 49-49 scenario. And I asked the question and I said, when we get a 45-45 or a 49-49, who's going to be that player to take the initiative? Who's going to be that team to try and dictate the pace and go for the win rather than turtling up? Pioneers, they turtled up. They backed away. They were all locked in bar and then they got punished for it.
It's not all on Druck, as we saw Soul Snipe with a crucial kill on Ryan and what that would have done to change the outcome of the game. Unfortunately, multiple members of the Pioneers not able to secure some of those final kills, and they're going to be wanting that opportunity back. Because now down 2-0, with the little LAN experiences Pioneers have, we're going to find out a lot about these young guns here and now in Game 3. It's going to be Streets, Strongholds that either close the door on the first series of our day, or will Pioneers push this one to a Game 4?
Well, I guess something that Pioneers fans can at least hold on to hope here is that eUnited did lose Stronghold Streets a little bit earlier on in the tournament to XSET, but when we saw them play previously in Pro Series 2, Rain went 19-2 on Street Strongholds. Now, I have a lot of questions about a 19-2 on Street Strongholds.
How do you... how?
How do you stay alive for that long in such a chaotic map? But I presume, you know, Rain, with the assist that he was able to find in that game, he's one of those players that likes to anchor, maybe sitting top C, maybe just holding the Stalker rifle and doing some damage from a distance. But regardless, they have played this map against each other previously in the Pro Series. They are going to be comfortable, you'd imagine, eUnited. And I know that we've had Game 5s every single time we've commentated throughout this tournament, but I'm starting to think that this eUnited train is not going to be stopped anytime soon.
No, I think eUnited have every intention of closing the door here and now. You saw how strong of a performance Rain had. If your teammate goes 19-2, we didn't even see the score line on screen, Dan. If someone goes 19-2 in the Strongholds, I imagine that that was a very lopsided victory.
Oh, that was a victory for sure. We didn't even have to have any confirmation that is...
Imagine he lost.
Then I'd be concerned. Then I'd be like, we need to see some changes happening with playstyles. But speaking of changes, Pioneers, I mean, there's going to be a lot of disappointment in the camp because they knew coming into this series, Slayers was their bread and butter. This is where they've been finding the victories against the eUnited. This is how they were able to get to that Game 5 previously because they were so comfortable on the Slayers. But now losing that, giving the advantage, the initiative here to eUnited, they're thinking, well, we've got to beat them on arguably one of their stronger game types. In a game type we've lost to them previously in Pro Series, the mentals are not going to be there for Pioneers right now.
The thing I'm worried about the most is what happened at the end of that Game 2 Slayer. 49-49, I love the fact that they were able to relocate towards the base, but how chaotic must it have been for Pioneers, for Druck to stick his head out and not be able to react well enough to get out of that situation, to get back into the bar with at least some of his shield back. The fact that he goes down there shows me that Pioneers had to have been chaotic. Pioneers had to have been feeling the moment. And is the moment too big on Championship Sunday? Because so often before have we seen the moment just be too big, especially for players that are still getting that experience under their belt. Druck has been here for a minute, but I mean, he hasn't been a part of some of these big series like he is in right now. And will this be a learning experience for Pioneers to look back on?
It's one of those moments that he'll remember. And you could look at it from the other point of view and say, well, what if there was a player behind him, down below them? Could he have dropped on him? But he had his battle rifle out. It's not like he had a mangler out and he was going to drop and get a quick kill. It almost feels like he slipped, and I know you can't really slip in-game, but did his thumbstick slip? Because he walked out almost too far onto the ledge of the balcony. It wasn't just a quick peek, he kind of was there, and then he panicked, and then he fell, and by that time, Ryan Noob had already drilled 4 shots into his head. And I think, yes, okay, it's going to be a difficult scenario for him because he was that last kill, but the whole team has to take the entire responsibility.
I mean, we saw Soul Snipe miss multiple melees and plasma pistol shots onto Ryan Noob.
That was the big one for me.
He goes down, and I mean, it's not just a drug death.
No.
That was the result of that 50-49. Much better performance all around from Pioneers is going to be needed to win games against this eUnited team. I mean, we could talk about the overshield and its impact early on that allowed Ryan Noob to be 13-6 at one point because he goes for overshield for free. Like, the opening strategy for Pioneers was even interesting. And that's got to be something you go back to the drawing boards and talk about completely, because the way that they played that Bizarre Slayer was not a one of success, right? You cannot afford to let Ryan Noob wreak havoc that early in the game, create that much separation. Yes, they were able to climb back. Yes, that game was as close as it could have been at the end. But steps along the way need to be improved in order to make it much easier and to not have to even be in a 49-49 situation.
Certainly true. If Pioneers were a little bit quicker off the blocks, maybe they would have had the advantage and had more kills to work with and not been in that pressure scenario. But going into Game 3, Street Strongholds, a very fast-paced and action-packed map that often is about who can outslay the other team. It sounds simple, but it's also about those rotations. And originally, I think when Street Strongholds first was released in Halo Infinite, a lot of people were holding A and B, and they were trying to keep a team in C, but allowing them to collect time, or allowing them to be in C, and you only hold the 2. Now we're seeing teams in the meta develop where you are constantly pushing for that trip cap. You are always pressuring those players who are spawning in C or trying to take C back off you, because you've got such an open view and open vision from bottom middle that you can take those fights against players who maybe aren't expecting it when they're just getting their cap. And we are going to see both of these teams constantly fight for that trip cap, always rotating around the map. Of course, we know rockets are on the map. We know that's going to be important. But also, the big one for me is the Bulldog. It is something that these coaches have to be prioritizing. They have to be making sure that the players are picking it up when it's available. If it goes down, if another team is holding it and it finds itself on the floor, someone needs to call that out. Someone needs to make sure it's picked back up, because you can see huge impactful kills made from that weapon.
Absolutely. That and the Stalker Rifle, Dan. I think when we talk about precision and kill times, I mean, that Stalker Rifle is the cream of the crop, especially on Street Stronghold. I would be shocked to not see, I'd be shocked if we don't see it have a very large impact in this game. And if it gets into the hands of players like Spartan the Dog or Rain, they can go off with it. But that's why I'm looking at Pioneer's side, and I'm saying who on this team is going to step up, control some of these weapons, hit some ridiculous shots, keep your team in this series for at least one more game, because right now you're on a game-to-game basis and your lifeline is short.
That's the thing. You've got to rattle eUnited here, don't you? You've got to be able to hit some big shots and to win by a significant margin that eUnited go, nah, crap, this isn't over yet. I think if Pioneers can come into this game, get a really big lead to start with, constantly pressure eUnited, not allow them off spawn, not allow them to get that much time, eUnited will be looking at themselves saying, okay, well, suddenly this is panic stations. The Pioneers have remembered how to play. This looked like the Pioneers that we faced in pool play, because as a reminder, Pioneers beat eUnited in pool play. It was 3-2, and even though eUnited came close to a reverse sweep, it was a Slayer that went in favor of the Pioneers just to close that one out. But with eUnited winning that game 2, winning that Slayer, they put themselves within the chance now of taking this series 3-0 on an objective mode that they have looked very confident on, not just online, but on LAN 2.
All right. Casters, start the game in the Twitch chat. You
All
know
right, I'll press the button, okay.
Yep, Dan, waiting on you. About time you finish that analysis, because I'm trying to get into this game 3. I want to see if Pioneers have what it takes to rebound off a traumatic loss. Trust me, boys, I've been there. I didn't play the ball once either.
Oh, no.
But we got Strongholds on Streets, and you can redeem that moment. You are still in this tournament. You are still in this series, and one game at a time mentality now more than ever. In Anaheim, Pioneers, can you get it to a game 4 and then push it the distance? We're going to hop on board with King Nick as this one kicks off, and he's denying any push from driveway. You're seeing Soul Snipe dodge the nades, but unfortunately the melee is true, and because of it, Nick finds one. Spots Talik as well, and good damage, good information as eUnited already have 3 dead.
It's another Soul Snipe and Talik pinch, but unfortunately it doesn't really work out for them. I think going up driveway off spawn leaves you in such a vulnerable position to all of those grenades. It's such a guessing game as to which position you push yourself into, and Ryan takes full advantage of the drop ball, gets a double, C and B control, eUnited scoring on the board.
Okay, let's do some math here, because for Ryan to be in B already with the Bulldog and the wall, he would have had to go towards shotgun, back tower to get the wall, and relocate to B. Look at how he's been able to influence this map so far. Already 3 kills to his name as well. So Ryan Noob having a phenomenal start to this game. Now trying to hold down Arcade. Is going to have players pushing from the courtyard position, but does he know that there's going to be multiple? Because Tires is an opportunity to get weak. Right now, I love this by him. Doesn't really choose a BR fight. Just wants to get information. Wants to bait them into this situation with Bulldog, but picking up a killing spree with this battle rifle all the same.
Look how smart that is, though. Recognizing that he was a little bit weak, he was vulnerable. Even though he got the double, not stupidly pushing for the triple, just getting the game done. That's what eUnited need to do here. Win this game 3, get it out of the way, 3-0, move on, think about playing for top 3, because that's where they can be. No one's going to remember if you finish top 6. In fact, people might remember it for the wrong reason. You've got to get at least into that top 4. You've got to be challenging the big teams here.
Pioneers looking a little bit sporadic so far in this game 3. Let's see if they can calm down, find their footing. Unfortunately, Druck a little too aggressive by himself right there. He's going to lose his life, and that's numbers once again in the hands of Pioneers. Not only that, but then look at the scoreboard, 80 points already. eUnited with a perfect game so far as Soul Snipe forced to hop into C, but the Slays are not there for Pioneers just yet. Rockets are in the hands of Druck. Will we see them be used successfully this time around?
Well, it was the perfect time for Pioneers to actually regain some control, as you say, with rockets coming up. That's a nice drop ball to at least contest the rocket launcher, and Druck didn't know how to deal with it. He panicked a little bit, it has to be said. Tried to get some splash damage, but wasn't able to get the kill and will fall, and those rockets go completely to waste. And eUnited can stop this trip cap from generating too much time, and now can look towards trying to take a little fight towards Arcade.
You got to be more patient and play your life in that situation if you're Druck, and unfortunately that rocket control once again just completely negated by eUnited. It was a nice wall, but you still got to figure out a way to get around it is the problem. Druck 0-5 right now, so a rough death at the end of game 2, a rough start to the beginning of game 3, but that's eUnited's pressure speaking volumes to me as Spartan and Ryan already have 6 of their own.
Talik just has to stay alive, needs assistance from whoever's in A, but 2 of them have got no shields. They're all kind of carrying away at the moment, the Pioneers, as the eUnited charge is happening towards pillars. If Nick gets away, then that is absolutely criminal. Soul Snipe not able to finish the kill either. Nick's still alive, and there's kills going in favor of eUnited. Pioneers just not able to maybe get those final bullets into players that they've been able to do previously in the tournament.
When it rains, it pours in this moment, appearing to be too big, at least at the start of this game. They did acquire 37 points during that trip cap, but unfortunately right back at it is eUnited continuing to climb over 115 at this point. Slays come through once again, 3 dead for Pioneers, and the next time we hop on board with a Pioneer player, we better see some production, because right now their backs are against the wall, they are against the ropes, and it looks like they're dazed.
eUnited might have had a sloppy start to the tournament, not winning their pool, but they're starting to look more like the grand final team we witnessed in Rally, and I think that is a dangerous and scary sign for the remaining teams in this tournament with the way that eUnited are playing. They've got precision, they've got accuracy, they've got cohesion, they've got all the good stuff that you need to generate victories, and right now, if they can get these rockets, then that might be bad news for Pioneers.
Another killing spree for Spartan in this series bodes well for eUnited fans heating up on Championship Sunday. Like you said, Dan, they were in the grand finals of Raleigh. Are they going to make it that far here in Anaheim? This is a great start to their Sunday, but Pioneers fighting back, attempting to at least, as trades come through, but Druck still needs to find his footing in this game 3, and unfortunately, it's just not able to be done when you're playing at such a high caliber from the side of eUnited. Perfect shots from Tall could be exactly what the doctor ordered.
Because of this huge lead now, almost 130-point lead for eUnited, as they can afford to play this very aggressively with a lot of those 1v1 engagements, a lot of those scrappy times that they're trying to actually find here, and Pioneers may struggle to really get any structure to put some real points on the board. And I think that eUnited, because of the starting strategy they were able to find, seem to be in such a good place right now that they're feeling comfortable, they're feeling confident, and I would hate to be playing against any of these players.
I mean, look at how dominant Talik was. 2 perfects back-to-back. They still get no control. In fact, they lose numbers in that situation. So Talik asking himself in the middle of a game probably, what else can I do to get my team some control on this map? Druk finds the first kill of the game, second as well, so maybe Druk heating up is exactly what Pioneers need. But right now, 188 to 48, they have to play so well in order to come back in this game.
I think there's just been some poor decisions made from Pioneers in this game at the moment. Like, eUnited had all 3 strongholds pretty much. There was a player finally capping C, and Pioneers were taking the fight to C rather than prioritizing A or B, which weren't even being contested. So there's just maybe a lack of direction from Pioneers. That could be down to panicking, maybe down to that kind of high pressure situation now of knowing they are so close from being eliminated to this tournament. 196 points on the board, and eUnited, this is becoming a little bit of a victory lap.
Absolutely dominant. We knew it was going to be a strong game type for them. We saw the stats from Rain the first time around. Well, it's not Rain this time. It's Ryan Noob. It's Spartan the Dog, 12 and 16, 30 kills combined. 28, sorry. Math on stream's difficult. But Rain continued to apply pressure. Pioneers cannot figure out ways to finish these kills. And look how difficult of kills eUnited are. Like, Rain buying that much time, doing a little bit of damage before he goes down. It allows his teammate to pick up a kill, and once again, 3 dead for Pioneers.
Well, at least Druk was able to get the rockets, and he secures 1 kill, but what does it matter when B's been taken, C's been taken, A is about to be taken, and we're about to see yet another total control, or potentially one anyway. Well, A gets reset. I give Pioneers that. They've gone to both C and A. eUnited need to win one of these engagements. They win the C engagement, so they're still scoring.
They do have 3 dead, so Pioneers have numbers for what feels like the first time in this game. Does the stick come through? No. And a big kill from Druk to secure B for his team. They have A. Dan, right now, 220 to 66. We need to see Pioneers get a trip cap and hold it for a little bit, because coming back with just 2 strongholds is too much to ask with how well eUnited is playing right now.
Yeah, they've got to fight aggressively for the trip cap, but the dangerous thing is if they lose even just 1 engagement at this point, it probably hands the victory over to eUnited.
We
always say you've got to play perfect Halo, yada, 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 but it literally has to be at this point, and that's a good start for Druk. It's a double kill, it's A control, it's points still being scored from Pioneers. There's still hope left in this one.
How quickly can Pioneers pressure onto C is the question. You see multiple members of eUnited trying to fight out of C. Are they able to trap them? Sparty, he's already found his way out towards the ATM spawn. Unfortunately, Spartan does go down though, so Druk with a nice kill, but can't deny C from being transferred. He does lose 2 teammates as well, so it's up to Druk to try and deny this, but the pre-grenades, 2 calculated from eUnited, and once again, they're just 1 step ahead of Pioneers so far.
Again, maybe just a little bit of a lack of direction from Pioneers. It doesn't seem like they're on the same page in those situations. They're not all jumping to try and fight C. Instead, they've got 1 fighting C, 1 fighting B, 2 over towards A. You need to group up at this point. When you're behind this much, you need to be fighting as a unit. You can't afford these mistakes. And with 236 on the board, eUnited are 1 set of 4 slays away from winning this game.
Druk hesitant to jump into B, trying to scan the area for enemy players. Nobody home. And unfortunately, a brute grenade going to come through, knock him down a little bit of a shield. But still 2 rockets in hand. If he can put these to use, it would be big. But unfortunately, just another no-shield player walking away from rockets. You have to figure out a way to get these kills. You want to be that impact entry fragger with these rockets. He finds 1, but information on multiple players pushing bottom middle, and it looks like eUnited are trying to secure a little bit of map control. They're not worried about the strongholds right now. They're worried about the slaves because only 14 points separate them and their destiny in top 4.
Yeah, they've got such a time advantage. They can afford to slow this one down a little bit and play it perfectly. Look for that entry frag. Once they've got it, that's when you get aggressive. That's when you try and take this stronghold. Most likely B, and there's the opener. Rain gets 1 with the Bulldog. Manny going down.
Oh, no.
Druk will probably follow. And with all those slays, Pioneers find themselves all 4 dead. B's going to be taken, and that might be the game.
Might be the game. It might be one more push. Manny already into A to deny the trip cap opportunity for eUnited to put a punctuation on the end of this series. And Sparty being such a nuisance, staying alive once again, no shield, turning it into results as he finds damage onto 1, a kill, and damage onto a second. 245, 3 dead for Pioneers, pressure onto A as well, and perfect shots are not needed to close this one out. eUnited will take this one 3-0, dominant fashion. And if I am the rest of the bracket looking at this series, the last thing you wanted to see is eUnited start to heat up.
The cry of Spartan echoes through this arena. You can tell that meant a lot to this eUnited roster. They lost in pools. There's a lot of questions being asked about them. Are they still that same eUnited team that we saw come second in Rally? Well, I think that answers just that question. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They put themselves into that lower bracket matchup with either Sentinels or G2 waiting for them, and I'm sure they will be relishing the opportunity of playing either of them for top 3.
And although that was a 3-0 series, 2 of those games were very, very winnable for Pioneers, so keeping your head up is key. Understanding that, yes, Anaheim was a big deal. You wanted a strong performance. Top 6 is good. It's not great. And I think that they go back to the drawing boards and they can talk about a lot of the mistakes that were made in this series. They can learn from these experiences, and there's a lot of learning to do before the first Worlds in Halo Infinite. And that's where the real money's on the line. That's where the big championship is won. So Pioneers, we're going to see what you have in store first for the rest of the season. But unfortunately, for this weekend, your tournament is over.
And our Game 5 streak ends. We had 4 in a row, but it's fine. It's good that it ends now before maybe one of our casts later on in the day when we've got some really important matches that are going to be coming down to the wire. A shame for Pioneers. I think they've had such a great tournament. Their pool play performances, everyone kind of turned their heads and they were like, okay, Pioneers are here to play. I genuinely believe they even had a chance when they played against Cloud9 yesterday. That's how good of a performance they had in pool play. But today, they looked off the level a little bit. They didn't seem comfortable whatsoever.
Well, that's the big thing about this Pioneers team for me, is I truly believe that they can beat any team at this tournament. But I truly also believe that they're not nearly consistent enough to beat every team at this tournament. And unfortunately, they beat eUnited. They showed you that they can beat them, but they also can lose to them. And unfortunately, a little bit more consistency is going to be what they need. But I hear we have Blaze on the main stage with an interview from the winners. It's going to be Spartan, and I hope he's loud about it.
I think he is going to be loud about it, Wes, as we saw him getting super excited on the stage coming out with that victory. And now, Spartan, you played that squad up in pool play before. Y'all lost in it Game 5. But when it comes down to eUnited, the longer people play y'all figure out how to beat them and dissect them and figure out a way to come out on top. What was the difference in this series?
I mean, the last time that we played them, obviously they played really well, but we just sucked. Plain and simple. Like, we went down 2-0 in games that we should never lose, and honestly, we came out so flat this weekend. We had so many close games and series that like people didn't think we would have.
Yeah.
And we kind of just tightened up. We finally clicked during the FaZe series last night, and we brought that same momentum over to this series, and I mean, it was a 3-0, so like you could just tell how much, the different energy, the different comms, everything.
Yeah, definitely looking night and day from y'all first performance on the first 2 days of the tournament. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about map number 2 in this series a little bit more, okay? Because the last 5 kills for both of those squads were so excited, and the game slowed down so much there. But what was going through y'all head when it was like 49-49 in some of those final moments till Raya seeing Druk casually walk out for that last kill?
So the whole series of events was wild. We were down 48-45, and I had just died. I'm on death cam. Ryan's running away through the treehouse, gets away with his life, and then I spawn in market, and I look over to my left, and I see Nick in the thick of it with a bulldog. I'm like, holy crap, we're about to lose. I didn't know he had a grapple, so he grapples away. I'm like, oh wait, this is sick. And then I forward tall, grabbed the dynamos, killed the guy that chased Ryan, and then when we got down to that 49-49, I have no idea how I stayed alive. There was like 3 on Nick at the elbow, and I just chucked nades, ran away, and then I literally said, all right, boys, no freaking fear, no fear.
Yeah.
And we all just Ryan's like, dude, let's three walk top rockets, and we 3-walk top rockets, and we won.
It was perfect. You're going to go back and watch that, and when you save Nick down there on truck, I promise you, he was sweating, and y'all got that triple to tie the game up. So, playing so far, so good. Any words, any shout-outs you want to give out there to the fans who've been supporting y'all throughout the progress y'all have been making? Because, as we know, y'all got second in Raleigh. People wasn't expecting it, but y'all have shown up once again and showing everybody that y'all been consistent.
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to everyone, friends, family, fans. I know we kind of underperformed online, but we suck at best of 3s. I think this is the first series all weekend that we actually won a game 1. We literally have lost game 1 to pretty much every team. And when you're playing best of 3s, especially online, you lose the first game and then you play a Slayer, and it's just anything can happen. So to get to LAN, we're just a LAN team, man. We get hyped, we get excited, we can see each other screens, it's just a whole different vibe, and I'm just glad people look past the online stuff and continue to support us.
All right, well, that's going to do it for me and Sparty on the main stage, and it seems like the vibes are high for eUnited. Lottie, break this series down with the guys.
Thank you so much, Blaze and Spartan. And you know what? It's got to be said. You got to put some respect on that United name. I mean, that was just unbelievable. And it's really cool to also hear from Spartan saying, like, we get over the hump of that map #1. You know, it's difficult. And he's right on line. It is difficult with a best of 3 because if you do fall short in that first map, a Slayer can be kind of 50-50 up against most of our teams here. Everyone knows how to shoot. Everyone knows how to snowball. And it can get a little bit out of control there. And that could be a series ending. So it is cool to see that this LAN team is here to play, and eUnited are looking mighty fine. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights from that final game in the match. That Strongholds was a pretty decent performance for eUnited. They were holding pretty strong throughout the entirety of this Streets map here, Walshy. What did you make of their teamwork in the Stronghold Streets?
They just got to such a big lead, and then they just parked in different spots, like that first clip we saw there from Ryan Noob. Just sat in B with the drop wall, with the Bulldog, and let players filter into tires and go for easy kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the flip side, it seemed like Pioneers, and I mean, Pioneers are probably reeling after that Bizarre Slayer. We're going to end up talking about Bizarre Slayer because that game was freaking legendary. Like, honestly, that was the series, in my opinion. And I think a lot of their confidence was kind of shot after it. But the biggest thing is it just seemed like they didn't quite know what they wanted to do. Their timing seemed a little bit off. We watched a lot of Druck in that game, too, and Druck kind of, double backing a lot, not quite sure where to position himself. I think they all went through alley to get to C at one point. They kind of left some of the map open. By the time Druck came back into the fight, he was late to the timing and just got deleted by like 2 nades. So
yeah, it
seemed, and I think it's because of Bizarre Slayer, because that would destroy your mental. It would destroy my mental.
Oh, huge. We are going to get into that in just a moment, but Druck, like you said, he kind of really wasn't in existence on the map for quite some time there, and the lead was kind of heavily in the favor of eUnited, and it was a little too late there. Tony, what did you notice about Druck and his performance? Is that going to come down to that one player's performance on Strongholds, or really is that just a team effort?
Oh no, I don't want to put on just one player whatsoever. You mean you live and die by your team, and that's how it's always been with KCP. As we said before, they were in the top 3 as far as win percentage, and literally none of them were in the top 15 as far as KD. Them and KD just are the opposite. They just go parallel. What their strength is the objective efficiency, their teamwork, and sadly it just wasn't their day. They got swept by eUnited. They showed that they can win. They obviously beat them in pools. Sadly, United showed what they can do as well when it matters most.
They certainly did. They answered back, that is for sure, in bracket play. But we need to talk about that Bizarre Slayer. That was wild. I mean, I hope you guys are entertained at home, because I certainly was. And I think there was one specific moment where we were all kind of on the edge of our seat, and that is when Soul Snipe decided to chase Ryan Noob into lockers. He was grappling his way, and Ryan Noob was thrusting his way away from him. But unfortunately, he kind of choked it, didn't he, Shyway?
He definitely did. There were a lot of chokes in the end of this game, to give credit to both sides, I guess, because right before that, they had King Nick with the shotgun, with the rockets and the grapple, and he choked big time to give Pioneers this opportunity. But, I mean, this play at a Soul Snipe, it started so well, and then it went so poorly in the end. The grapple rotation, if we play it back again, or maybe we will, maybe we won't. Either way, the rotation he did was godlike, right? He had this nice wide steer on the grapple, and then he aimed it straight through the door, lost no momentum, gave him a perfect angle to finish the kill. He couldn't finish the kill. When he got in the locker, he missed 1 melee, missed 2 melees, right? Like, I've been in that situation before where it's like, I need this kill. I'm flailing. I think I'm in range. So you just kind of go for it again. It doesn't work. And it's just, you're so nervous. You're so antsy. I think Druck at the end kind of underscored it all, coupled with Wes's commentary at the end of that, too, which was just beautiful. Druck, what are you doing, right? He's looking like a deer in the headlights, kind of walking out, dying, unfortunately.
He did indeed. He did let that final kill go in the way of eUnited. I got to say, though, it was interesting to also hear Spartan from his perspective and what happened. He actually kind of talked about those final moments, and he talked about the Soul Snipe kind of choke situation with Ryan Noob there. I didn't realize the dynamo grenades came from Spartan, so it was cool to see that there is that team support. Ryan Noob's in a bit of trouble there. He's being chased. He's communicating to the rest of his team across the map like, hey, I'm getting chased down here. I need to survive. If we want to get that switch and control here, I need to survive so we can get the spawns that we need here.
Yep, these players are paying attention to what their teammates are doing when they're in a death screen. So as soon as they come up, they know where they can help immediately. And that's why Spartan was able to, first off, help his teammate over in the alley, like he said. He helped Tolic, and after that, threw the dynamo grenades right into the locker. So he saved 2 teammates' lives there in a 1-kill differential game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive, and I think the support system from teams is honestly really what makes or breaks a series for a lot of them, but exceptional stuff from eUnited overall. Let's take a look at the bracket right now and see exactly where we are at. After that one, we're into the elimination bracket. Of course, that one was goodbye for Pioneers. Unfortunately, they are out of the competition. Their LAN is over, but eUnited, they press forward into the elimination semis where they're going to be facing either Sentinels or G2 Esports. Honestly, both of these teams at this point are going to be a tough ride for eUnited. I think the competition is getting pretty close in terms of skill gap here and what teams can deliver. We do have the winners bracket though, and lined up for you after that match, we have Cloud9 versus Optic Gaming in the winners finals. That's going to be pretty damn big. I'm very excited about that. I think a lot of people are anticipating that matchup and want to know really what Optic can bring to the table against Cloud9. We've seen, a couple of other teams really challenge them a little bit this LAN, and I think this is Optic's time to shine. They did a hefty job on Sentinels yesterday, and based on their performance, Walshy, would you say Optic are looking like a more well-rounded team than they were previously at Raleigh?
Absolutely. I think when we looked at Optic before, it was kind of like this Lucid and Trippy show with the supporting cast of APG and Ola, but really APG and Ola have come into their own form here at Anaheim. We've seen Ola actually dropping most kills for his team some games, and not saying that he hasn't been doing that in the past, but overall it's been more of a supporting role in previous events.
Yeah, I think the flexibility of this Optic roster is pretty dangerous right now. The fact that they can switch around and they can do exactly what needs to be done, where it needs to be done on a map and in any situation. I'm excited to see them heat up, and they're looking pretty good. But you guys at home can also look good because I have a discount code for you, and you can gear up in all of this gorgeous apparel here. It's the HCS gear as well. It's our launch collection, and obviously we're celebrating this weekend here at the Anaheim Regionals. You get 15% off using the code HCS Anaheim 2022. Use the discount code at checkout, and you guys can be kitted out. And you've got Brav in the middle there. He's looking absolutely amazing. Elite.
Does the handsome man come with the shirt? Or
I'm going
to
have to get a confirmation on that one.
Okay.
And I'm also going to have to get confirmation from Bravo if he does want to be shipped out to multiple different places.
He's always on the move
and
anyway.
Do the rounds. Yeah, that is very. He is always on the move.
He's
He's an adventurer here in the HCS. I also do have another giveaway up my sleeve for you guys. The Xbox Series X giveaway. Ooh. You guys could get your hands on this limited edition console. I've got to say, look, non-biased, but that is stunning, okay? That is absolutely beautiful. Golden Boy said he's actually seen it in person, and it's even better than what it looks like on the screen here. So make sure you follow at HCS on Twitter and retweet the official giveaway as well. And just tune in and enjoy the show. That's all you have to do, folks. We are going to head now. I was going to say send, and I said head at the same time, and we're going to head to a quick break. But when we come back, we do have another elimination match on the cards for you. It's going to be G2 Esports versus Sentinel. Somebody is going home today after the end of this series. You're going to want to find out, and we'll see you right after the break.